SML. I know what happened to Brooklyn Guy. So we all know about the Secret Door 2, right? And we all know about Does Bad Things Guy, right? Now we know in this video, Does Bad Things Guy makes a deal with the devil to get out of hell so that way he can have a good time in heaven. Or should I say Earth? Because Does Bad Things Guy made a deal with the devil, and also they were having a conversation about this. But then Craig hesitates for a moment and thinks about it, and then he says, deal, he's gonna send him back to Earth. And then Does Bad Things Guy is sent back to Earth where he could cause more chaos. So what if I told you Brooklyn Guy might actually be dead? Because if you go back to the scene where Does Bad Things Guy and Brooklyn Guy are fighting, that's where Marvin pulls out with a gun and doesn't know who the real Brooklyn Guy is. And that's where they start hinting at Marvin, saying that they're the real Brooklyn Guy. But Marvin doesn't know, so he starts asking him a bunch of questions. The first question is, how did you hit your head? And that's where Does Bad Things Guy says his brother hit him on the head. But Brooklyn Guy is saying he didn't do it. But that's where Marvin is not buying it. So he asks another question. What kind of coffee table would you buy? Then that's where both of the Brooklyn guys would be really confused on what Marvin's talking about. Both say that they will buy a normal coffee table. But Marvin is still not buying it, and he would say one of y'all would never buy a piano coffee table. Then that's where they would get angry. They would be like, what? You don't know what you're talking about. Marvin would say the fake one was talking about the piano coffee table. Then they would both say, you believe that? Then after that, they would say that was made up. Then Marvin asks us the third question and said, what kind of place would you eat at? Then Brooklyn Guy and Does Bad Things Guy said Chili's, and one of them said Applebee's. That's where Marvin tells both of them to sing the Chili's Baby Back song. They both started singing the song, and only one of them sung the ending part. Then Marvin points that out and said, wait, hold on, how come one of you sang the ending? And that's when one of the Brooklyn guys would say he had the barbecue sauce part. And before Brooklyn Guy can say you're not gonna shoot he shoots him. And that's where one of the Brooklyn guys are dead. But what if I told you that was the real Brooklyn Guy? Because one of the Brooklyn guys said, thanks for making the right choice, Marvin. And why would they use the new Brooklyn Guy? Because if you look at the SML behind the scenes, look who's the real Brooklyn Guy. So that means that Does Bad Things Guy is still alive. And think about that. You know how the Secret Door 2 has no SML question? That means we're gonna get the SML movie Secret Door 3. Or Does Bad Things Guy might be Brooklyn Guy pretending to be evil the whole time. We don't know until we find out about the Secret Door 3.